get this party started.
Good evening and welcome to the 2014 NFL Draft. Thank you to NFL fans around the world for your tremendous passion and support throughout the year. Tonight we have a group of season ticket members right down in front of us, so congratulations, thank you for being here. As you all know, these next few days are important to our teams, our players, our coaches, and in particularly you, the fans. So let's get it started. The 2014 NFL Draft is officially open. The Houston Texans are now on the clock.
The Texans have handed in their pick. The pick is in, as the Rams have already been on the clock for 20 seconds. And the Rams do know who the pick is already, because once the pick is phoned into New York, it's transmitted to the next team on the clock. And their phone could be ringing right now in St. Louis, as our ears will soon be ringing with the name of the first selection of the 2014 draft here in Radio City. We're told that
where's the commish? Let's go.
He's going to get up there in less than a minute.
Wow.
You think it's Clowney, Mike?
I do believe it's Clowney. And for me, I've had Mac #1 for 3 months. I think he's a great fit in Houston, so if they do trade down, there's an option there. But all day long, I believe it's Clowney, yeah.
Says the Rams have less than a minute to go. The commissioner's going to get up there. It's going to be the Houston Texans, who lost their last 14 games of last year. They started 2-0, then lost their last 14, which is how you choose first overall.
This has to feel like deja vu in a sense, the fact that they're making his first overall pick, and it's the same type of guy. I mean, when the stats went up, it was amazing that the stats mirrored each other.
They went with Mario Williams over a quarterback who is from the state of Texas in the draft. Let's see if they do it again now. Here's the commissioner with the first overall selection of this year's draft.
With the first pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Jadeveon Clowney, defensive end, South Carolina.
So the tears are flowing.
6'5", 266 pounds. He's got 34.5-inch arms, and he ran a ridiculous 4.53 at 266 pounds. This kid is explosive. He flashes in every game. And what I try to tell people is when he woke up this morning in a very nice hotel room, he was the most talented defensive lineman on the planet. But really, the knock on him is that he's not always consistent. We're going to go to our own Hall of Fame defensive lineman back in Los Angeles. And Warren Sapp, you've been openly critical of this young man. What do you have to say?
I don't have a problem with him being the #1 pick, Mike, because when you look at him on tape, you see those spots and those flashes that you talk about, and you understand why he's so special. And he's a rare talent, and the only thing you got to do is look at his measurables. You don't find a young man that big, that fast, that strong every day. He's a once every 15-year talent. He's the #1 player. Houston has their work cut out for him, getting him in that 3-4, pairing him with J.J. Watt, and letting him go after Andrew Luck, because that's a task.
With Super Bowl aspirations, yes, but wound up being 2-14 and able to select Jadeveon Clowney, #1 overall. Brian?
I see tears, man. Explain your emotions.
Man, it's changed my life, man. I've been wanting this dream for forever. And it's finally here, man. I appreciate it. I'm going to go out there and work hard for the Texans, man. Do everything I can to help the program.
Did all the naysaying and the hating bother you?
No, sir, man. I know what I can do on the field. I'm just ready to go ahead and prove it to these guys that's doubting me and just go ahead and work.
Playing with J.J. Watt, is that a dream come true?
This is a great dream, Coach. I've been watching this guy since I've been coming up for the last few years in college. I'm just ready to be beside him and get to work.
What did Mama say?
Man, she's excited about this moment right now. She's overwhelmed, too, with me.
God bless you, man.
In March of 2012, you're looking at the Rams draft party. A minute and change to go, Marshall Faulk. They might trade the pick. The question is, do they go ahead and select somebody to protect Sam Bradford, somebody to help Sam Bradford out in terms of a weapon, or do they choose somebody to replace Sam Bradford with this pick?
The beauty is, when you listen to Jeff Fisher, he said not 1 or 2, 6 to 8 guys fit their pick. And it has to be something RG3-ish to get them out of that pick. And I don't believe anyone is going to give that up. So I'm going to say this. If you play in the NFC West, it's one thing you must do. You must win the line of scrimmage on offense and win the line of scrimmage on defense. And if you watch last year, at times, they struggled on offense to win the line of scrimmage. Greg Robinson would fit here when you think about what they did with Sappho, paying him, kicking him inside. If Jake Long can be healthy enough to where he can come back and start week 1 for them, you put Greg at right, Jake Long at left, you going to win the line of scrimmage. The big boy going to win the line of scrimmage. I watch him dominate at Auburn. I love what he brings to the table. 328 yards per game is how much they rush for in college in the SEC.
And Sam Bradford, now, if this is Sam Bradford, you're putting him on the hot seat, or we're saying this has to be the year he steps up. Do you get him protection, or do you get him a Sammy Watkins or a Mike Evans, somebody that can go and get the football out of the air? They have to be thinking about that. You know, Teron Austin last year was a great fast player, but not that every down receiver they need. If you're going to put the guy on the block, get me some every down guy to catch that pass.
And there's Ty Burrell of Modern Family, big-time Rams fan, who is sitting at the Rams.
Which one is he?
He's the one in the middle.
Otherwise known as Phil Dunphy.
That's right. Phil Dunphy is going to select this pick. Mike, with 45 seconds to go until the commissioner's up there. Yeah? Your thoughts? Your thoughts with 40 seconds to go until we hear it.
What Marshall said about the division they play in dictates to me what this pick's going to be. Robinson's 332 pounds. What's really intriguing is they've got a guy named Joe Barksdale, who's their right tackle. They might even take Robinson and play him inside for a year or two before they kick him outside and protect from the inside out. Trust me, physicality wins in that division, and Robinson fits.
And again, this is the last first-round choice of a trade that was made 2 years ago. Let's hear who the Rams have selected. Second overall, their first of 2 picks tonight.
With the second pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the St. Louis Rams select Greg Robinson, tackle, Auburn.
5'5", 332 pounds. Mother's Day weekend, wrapping those 35-inch arms around his mom.
I love it.
Isn't that awesome, Michael Irvin?
I love that part of this show, man, on this weekend.
Every time I'm here, it takes me back to my draft and that experience. It's the best reality TV there is. The best.
Look at the picture. That's awesome.
A dream's coming true. This is actually, you're watching these guys dream, manifest into its physical reality. Every kid started out saying, man, one day I'm going to get an opportunity to play in the NFL. And this kid right now walking that walk saying, boy, this is the reality right now.
Hey, Marshall, take a look at him, okay? First tape I put in, Orlando Pace. That's the first guy I thought about.
Just think about this. If you are a left tackle going to an organization, there's no shortage of advice you can get from Jackie Slater and Orlando Pace. My God. There's a wealth of information on how to be a dominant left tackle in the game of football. Listen, I'm happy for him. And watching him play at Auburn, he's going to fit in with the kind of person that Jackie Slater is and the kind of person that Orlando Pace is, that when those three sit down, when they're at...
He is right now in the toughest division in the NFL.
It's time for him to be welcomed to Primetime, presented by G5 Primetime. Dion?
The number 2 pick in the draft, big fella.
Speechless. It's a blessing to be here. Thanks for St. Louis for giving me this opportunity. I won't let y'all down.
Did you ever doubt it?
No, sir, I didn't. I've always been confident, and I'm confident in my game, and it won't change.
You come a long way from Thibodaux, Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
What should we expect from you in the NFL?
My all, 110% of Greg Robinson. Nothing less. Promise you.
Back to you, Rich.
Thanks
I like that
very
ball
much. It's the first time ever a Jeff Fisher team has taken an offensive lineman in the first round. We are taking a break. When we come back, the Jacksonville Jaguars pick. That is Lydia Robinson rocking a new lid.
Get it on Mom.
Welcome back. The Jacksonville Jaguars. That's Dave Caldwell making the selection for Gus Bradley and the rest of the Jacksonville Jaguars contingent. He's on the phone with somebody. The pick is in. Mike Mayock, your thoughts?
Look, I've been all over the Khalil Mack pick here. I was in their building for 12 hours last week watching tape with their coaches. I know them pretty well. If it's not Mack, think about a quarterback whose name is not Johnny Manziel. Okay, and I don't know this for a fact, but I know how they think, and he fits their profile. So if it's not Mack, don't be shocked if Blake Bortles goes right here.
Well, why he would be staying in the state of Florida. All right. A little bit of intrigue for the Jacksonville Jaguars fans out there.
Oh, this place is rough.
With the third pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Blake Bortles, quarterback, Central Florida.
Well, there you have it. The first quarterback in this draft selected is not Johnny Manziel. It's not Teddy Bridgewater. It's a young man out of the University of Central Florida who's going to join the AFC South this fall and try and do battle against Andrew Luck and the rest of that division and have to avoid Jadeveon Clowney coming for him twice a season.
I was in their building last week, and Gus and Dave were in Gus's office. They heard me come in. The secretary announced me, and I could hear Gus going, and Dave, we've made up our mind. It's going to be Johnny Manziel. And they had big pictures of him up all over the wall, but it was Blake Bortles the whole time. They believe in this kid. He's 6'5", 232 pounds. He's got a big arm. He reminds me a little bit of a young Ben Roethlisberger. Very strong. He climbs the pocket. Our Hall of Fame quarterback, Kurt Warner, what do you think?
Well, I'd just say, Mike, I'm a little bit surprised that it was Bortles over Manziel with the first pick. But like you said, I think he's the prototypical pro quarterback. He's a guy that plays the game very well inside the pocket. Like you said, can climb the pocket, can make all the throws, can take some hits. And they've got some work to do in Jacksonville. But I think he's a great piece to build around, and he plays the game the way I believe you have to win in the National Football League. He's got a ways to go, but I think they can grow together as a team.
Brian, take it away.
Hey, this guy is extremely excited, man. Is this a shocker to you?
You know, I don't know. I came in with no expectations. Just happy to be here in New York, and now I'm pumped to go to Jacksonville and compete, and do what I can to be the best I can be.
But when I saw you walk out that draft room, you were smiling from ear to ear. You gave a shout out to one of your homies who's by the stage. So this has to be somewhat of a shock.
Yeah, it's just, it would have been a shock if I was 1 or 150. It's a dream come true, and I'm just so excited.
Congratulations, man. Back to you, Rich.
So Blake Bortles is going to that fan base, that rabid fan base in Jacksonville. There's a lot of Jacksonville fans that are here as well. And the Buffalo Bills have just struck a trade for the number 4 overall pick with the Cleveland Browns. As you saw the Jacksonville War Room clapping for their pick. So that mandates us to sort of stop our discussion about Blake Bortles and turn to you, Mike Mayock, and say, who do you think the Buffalo Bills would be hopping up 5 spots to go take? Could this be Khalil Mack going to Buffalo?
If it's not Khalil Mack.
He's pretty darn athletic for a 6'5" size. We didn't know he'd go this early, but we certainly thought he'd be in the top 10. I'm happy for Blake Bortles, and I know Jacksonville is too.
And it's a big day for him, and we're all happy for him because it's a big day for all of these kids. But I tell you, you better get some help around that kid pretty quickly.
That's it right there.
You got Justin Blackman, who they are on record saying they don't know if he will be available to the Jacksonville Jaguars this season. So, all right, now, we've been talking all year about the quality of wide receivers in this draft, in the depth of the quality of wide receivers in this draft. Well, they better go and find a few to help this kid, or this can be a long process.
Maurice Jones-Drew,
right?
You better put some pieces around this kid, or we've seen it in our league before.
Here's the beauty. He doesn't have to play day one, and I believe he needs a red shirt here. Even at the third pick, Chad Henne's going to start the season, I believe, as the quarterback for Jacksonville.
The trade details, if I may, because the picks about to be in, are in. Buffalo, to move up 5 spots, gave up their #1 in next year's draft and the 109th pick overall in this year's draft, with also the 9th overall pick. So Cleveland has dropped down from 4 to 9, got a first rounder in next year's draft, which means it'll be 2 straight years in a row for them with 2 first-round picks, and a 4th rounder, and then next year's draft as well. Here's Commissioner Goodell.
The Cleveland Browns have traded the 4th pick to the Buffalo Bills. With the 4th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Sammy Watkins, wide receiver, Clemson.
Well, that's what Michael Irvin and I just talked about. You've got a young quarterback in E.J. Manuel. First-round pick a year ago, very talented kid. So now what do they want to do? They want to surround him with a weapon. And, Michael, what they got was, in my opinion, the premier wide receiver in this draft.
Yeah, speed. He can get it in returns. And what's great about this pick, when you got a guy like Sammy Watkins, the explosiveness that he brings, hey, I can wait, because I still think he has to develop some things on a pro level, but he's so quick, Rich. Guys, you can throw him hitches, quick screens, let him take it the distance, and that'll help E.J. Manuel, the young quarterback.
Versatile guy. He's big and strong. He could be a running back if you asked him to be. He could be a return guy. Throw him the bubble screen. Like you said, Mike, he's the most dynamic player at wide receiver in this year's draft in my mind. And boy, they got a steal right there. Buffalo Bills with Sammy Watkins.
And they needed an everyday guy.
You basically said to the New England Patriots, if we can't stop you, we're going to try to outscore you.
Yep.
And that's what they're taking that approach. Remember playing the New England Patriots.
Last year they took Robert Woods in the second round at wide receiver. They've got Stevie Johnson. So they're surrounding that young man with a ton of weapons and said, we are going to support you.
And don't forget Spiller sitting in the backfield as well. They've got some guys who can run the ball, and Fred Jackson. They're building something in Buffalo and Western New York. E.J. Manuel, the quarterback there for the Doug Marrone coach team. You saw Russ Brandon, the president of the Bills, was cheering and pumping his fists for Sammy Watkins, who I believe is taking a selfie. If I'm not mistaken, that is exactly what is going down.
Right.
A Goodell-fee is what it's called. That's the nickname. That's the new nickname.
I went to St. Louis and we took
Buffalo. A Florida boy going to Buffalo.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I thought they was messing with me when they said they was going to pick me, but they trusted him and they believed him, and now it's time to start playing.
You excited about playing with E.J. Manuel?
Yes, sir. I mean, he's a great quarterback. I played against him. They beat us pretty bad, but I respect him, and I'm ready to get to working with him.
You know you are the highest draft pick ever from Fort Myers, Florida.
Yeah, it's a blessing, man. Just to see you get from there. I looked up to you all my years and tried to be hungry and dedicated, and now look where I'm at now.
Oh, you got the number. Call me if you need me. I'm proud of you, baby.
Yes, sir.
Much went as we expected, and to Jacksonville at number 3. Charlie, I believe he was your highest-rated quarterback on the board. What do you make of the selection of Blake Bortles?
I think it's a classic case of taking a quarterback because of need. Coach going into his second year, I don't have a quarterback to develop. Who's the best quarterback on the board? We're going to take it. Blake Bortles is not the third best player. So this is clearly a developmental pick. Henne will start. And it's an example of you like this guy and you're banking on your ability to develop him and him come through. So these things are about a 50-50 shot when they succeed. I do like Bortles. What I like about him, I like his athletic ability, his size, his arm strength, his mobility. I've seen this guy make big-time throws. What I haven't seen is consistency in accuracy and decision-making. Now, can he get over the hump with experience? We'll see.
And the other thing that he does have, Charlie, is he has some poise, which is probably the toughest thing to be able to identify in a quarterback. And if you have poise, you have a chance. And he can make all the throws. You can see all that. I think what Charlie said is 100% right on the money. Is he the best player? Is he the third best player in this draft? No. Is he the best quarterback available in this draft? probably was.
You look at the Jaguars, they won 4 games last year. Is this a case of we don't anticipate making the postseason this year or the Super Bowl? We have time to develop Blake Bortles. He's our quarterback. Or is this a situation where they have to rush him out there because he was picked so high?
Well, I don't think they're going to rush him out there. And talking to them, they were very comfortable with playing Henny. So, no, this is getting their quarterback set to go forward.
Okay, I'm going to jump in there, Charlie. We're going to go to the lectern here. Commissioner Goodell with the Oakland Raiders selection.
With the 5th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Oakland Raiders select Khalil Mack.
Nice pick.
Linebacker, Buffalo.
So they get the pass rusher.
Nice.
Khalil Mack, you see there, 6'2", 251-pound linebacker, super athletic out of Buffalo. A lot of concerns about the level of competition that he faced in the MAC, but certainly going through the draft process, Matt, he proved himself, acquitted himself nicely.
Yeah, and so what you can do when you're going with a guy who is not going up against great competition week in and week out, what does he bring to the table each and every week? Does he bring an intensity? Does he bring his athletic skills? Does he, when he's going against a better player? Like the Ohio State game, does he rise to the occasion? The answer in all those things is yes. And so he did everything he was supposed to do. The competition will be different when he goes to the next level. But he showed at the Combine, he showed with his athleticism, his workouts, he can do all those things. I think this is a good pick for Reggie McKenzie. I think it's a good pick for the Raiders. They need a pass rush. This guy will fit the bill.
Absolutely, and which you could go, you've got Woodley and Tuck. So when you go to nickel, you move Tuck inside, and you got Woodley outside. We don't know what he's got left, but obviously this guy's got a lot left. He was a fascinating player to watch because the guy was really a good football player. And as Matt pointed out, level of competition, he played about 4 games all year where he played, better people, okay, than he was playing the rest of the year. But he did what he had to do at that level. So I'm kind of excited to see how he does at the NFL now when he's playing good players every week. I'll be surprised if he doesn't have a terrific NFL career.